Good morning class 1, happy Monday and welcome to today's English lesson. Before we start, I just want to say I hope you've had a lovely weekend and that you've managed to get up to some fun things, maybe a nice walk outside somewhere, or maybe you've been playing in the garden. I just want to say that I want you to continue working as hard as you have been this week. I am unbelievably proud of all of your efforts with your home learning and keep it up because you are doing an amazing job. So let's find out what we're going to be doing in today's English lesson. On Friday, I showed you the front cover of our brand new text that Pedro has chosen for us. So this is the book that we're going to be reading this term and it's going to be helping us with our learning. Now Pedro is really excited to share this story with you and he was incredibly impressed, as I was, with all of your predictions about what the story was going to be about when we looked at the book on Friday. So let's remind ourselves of the front cover again. So you should have been able to identify, which I saw lots of you did, which was fantastic, that the title of the book is Lost and Found. We also identified the author. Remember, the author is the person who has written the story, and the author of Lost and Found is Oliver Jeffers. He's actually one of my favourite authors. He's written some fantastic books. And I also asked you to make a prediction about what you think the story could be about. Now, you could have used the title to help you, you could have used the picture to help you, everything that you can see on the front cover. And I was really impressed with the predictions that I've seen. Some of you predicted that it might be about a boy and a penguin, which so you've used the pictures on the front cover to help you. Some of you predicted that they might have gone on an adventure. Some of you said that adventure might have been along a river or across the ocean because you can see the water on the front cover. And some of you used the title to help you as well. So you said that you thought that the penguin might have been lost and then the boy found him. So you've been using the evidence on the front cover to help you. So well done. In today's English lesson, we are going to be reading the first page of the storybook and then we're going to be making some further predictions. Now, because we're thinking about predictions again in today's lesson, I want you to recap what a prediction is. So pause the video now and tell a grown-up, what is a prediction? That's right, well done. A prediction is when we make a guess. So in the last lesson, we were predicting, using the front cover, what we thought the story was going to be about. Now, let's find out how we're going to be using predictions to help us in today's lesson. Before we can make our predictions, we need to read the first page of the story, Lost and Found. So I'm going to put Pedro by the side of you so that he can listen to the story too. Okay, let's read the first page of the story. Once there was a boy, and one day he found a penguin at his door. So here we can see, if we look at the picture, we've got the boy and a penguin who has arrived at his front door. A little bit like how Pedro arrived in my back garden. How exciting. Now, before we continue reading the rest of the story, in today's lesson I want us to make a prediction about what the boy and the penguin might have said to each other when the penguin arrived at the little boy's door. So let's have a look at the picture in the book again. We can see the penguin has arrived at the little boy's door. What do you think the penguin says to the little boy? And then what do you think the little boy says back to the penguin? We're going to be using our imagination in today's lesson and we're going to be predicting the conversation that the penguin and the little boy had. Let's put our thinking caps on and I want you to think about what the penguin might have said. Imagine you are the penguin, you have just arrived at the little boy's door. What are you going to say to him? I think Pedro can really help us with our learning today because Pedro has experienced this firsthand. He arrived at my house in my garden and we had a conversation. So Pedro is going to tell me what he said because he's a little bit too shy to tell you himself, and then I'm going to repeat what I said back to him as an example. Okay? Yeah, I'll tell class 1 now. So Pedro, when he arrived in my back garden, said, "Hello, my name is Pedro. Please can you help me? I'm lost." Then I replied and said, "Yes, of course. Where do you live?" So that was the conversation between myself and Pedro when he arrived in my back garden. I'm going to use that to help me predict what the conversation might have been between the little boy and the penguin in the story when the penguin arrived on the little boy's front door. Now let's have a look at writing our example on the board together. Okay, as I said before, we are going to predict what the penguin said to the little boy when he arrived on his front doorstep. Now I've practiced verbalising my ideas out loud first, and now I'm going to have a go at writing them. So you can see this is the penguin that has arrived at the little boy's door, and here is the little boy who's going to reply to the penguin. Now I've really thought about it, I'm going to say my sentence out loud before I write it down. I think the penguin started with hello, but before I start writing, I'm going to show that I'm using a capital letter in a different coloured pen. Hello, finger space, I, finger space, am, finger space, lost, finger space, can, you, use one of our tricky words, you should know how to spell it, help, help, can you help me? Now that's a question, so I need to remember to put a question mark at the end of my sentence instead of a full stop. Ooh, ch. Let's read it back and check that it makes sense. Hello, I am lost. Can you help me? Now I think I need to add a full stop in my sentence here. I started with hello and I said I am lost. I think that needs to be a full stop because that sentence has finished there, and then I can start my new sentence with a capital letter. Can you help me? It's a question, and I've got my question mark at the end to show that I am asking a question. So I have predicted what I think the penguin said when he arrived at the little boy's front door. Now I need to think about what the little boy is going to reply to the penguin, and I need to think carefully. Is the little boy going to be kind and helpful, and is he going to say to the penguin that he will help him find his way home? Or is he going to be rude and tell him to go away and that he doesn't know who he is, so he's not going to help him? Have a think. What is the little boy going to reply to the penguin? Can you predict what he might say? Okay, Pedro and I have had a little think, and we think that the little boy is going to be kind and helpful because he's also going to be intrigued as to where the penguin has come from. So we think that the little boy is going to say, yes, I will help you, but he does need to know where the penguin lives. So he might ask the penguin a question to find out some more information. So I'm going to write the first section of the little boy's reply, which is, yes, I will help you. So I'm going to start my sentence with a capital letter. Yes, making sure my letters are on the line, finger space, capital letter for I. Yes, I will, finger space, help. Finger space, there's not quite enough room here, so I'm going to go on to the next line. Yes, I will help you, one of our tricky words. And to show that my sentence is finished, I'm going to put a full stop at the end. Let's edit that writing and check that we've included everything we need to. Have I got a capital letter at the beginning of my sentence? Yes. Yes, I will help you. I've got finger spaces in between each word, and I've made sure that I've got a full stop at the end of my sentence. I could leave the response there, but I want to extend it further. I think that the little boy would ask the penguin a question to find out some more information about how he could help him. So now I'm going to think of a question that the little boy could ask the penguin to find out that further information. Pause the video now and see if you can think of a question that the little boy might ask the penguin. Okay, Pedro and I have thought of a brilliant one. We thought to ask the penguin, where do you live? So I'm going to extend the little boy's answer now. So he started with, yes, I will help you. We're going to need a capital letter at the beginning of our sentence for where, and it sounds like an air sound, but actually we've got an eh. That is one of our tricky words. We have learnt that one. Where, finger space, do, you, another one of our tricky words, and I've got to go underneath, live, silent eh. Now I've asked a question, so I need to make sure that I've included a question mark. 3, 2, 1, ooh, shh. Let's read it back to check that it makes sense. Yes, I will help you, full stop. Where do you live? Question mark. Excellent. So we've written the conversation between the boy and the penguin. We've predicted what we think they might have said to each other. Let's read it back through all together just to check that our writing makes sense. Hello, I am lost, full stop. Can you help me? Question mark. Yes, I will help you, full stop. Where do you live? Question mark. So we've edited our writing to make sure that we've got capital letters, finger spaces and a full stop or a question mark if we need one, whilst we've made a prediction about what we think the boy and the penguin said to each other. Okay, now we've had a look at an example prediction together, an example conversation between the boy and the penguin. Pedro and I would like you to make your own predictions. What do you think the penguin said to the little boy, and what do you think the little boy said to the penguin? We can't wait to see your predictions and your conversations. Please upload your work to Tapestry and keep working hard. See you very soon. Bye.